And today is our third and final session together. Today's portion of the Quick Start is about growing your business. Last week was about getting started, right? We talked about your setup, completing your profile, starting to understand your dashboard, and learning about the different automation that's in place. What's going to happen once you start adding contacts in here. So today is all about growing your business. It's all the different ways that you can gather leads and contacts and add them into kvCORE, whether that's driving business to your website, purchasing something from the marketplace, adding in your current sphere of influence or your current leads, connecting your current lead sources. Those are the types of things that we're going to cover today. And we'll also do a quick review of looking at the system as a whole, right? When a new lead comes in, what does that process look like, from the alerts that are sent your way to the communication that goes out to them, and how do you really work that lead through its life cycle, right? So that's what we're covering today, growing your business. So we are going to cover your website, what it looks like, and there's a client portal in there as well. So what do they have access to? What can they come back in and see and look at? We're going to talk about some pro tips and why it's important to import your database. When we say database, we mean your current contacts. Some of you might have a CRM that you are leaving to come here. Some of you have never used a CRM before. So where do you get these lists of people? We're going to talk about new leads. There's free and paid lead generation available to you. And then, of course, we'll talk about those action items where you actually, put the pedal to the metal, get in there, start doing work so you can understand how the kvCORE system works, right? Push those buttons. So that's what we're going to cover today. So first, let's go to our website. As we explore our website, this is where we talk about section 3 of our action items. So let me chat that out to you right now. There you go. So our section 3 action items are all about you getting to know your website. What does it look like? What can you customize and edit on there? How does a contact or a lead interact with it? And what do they see? And what do you see? So that's what section 3 is all about. So first off, how to access your kvCORE website. If you click on your name in the top right-hand corner, you will see your assigned smart number. You will see your login email, and then you will see your website. So if you click on that, that will open your website in another tab. Now, the cool thing about exploring your website like this is it bypasses the automatic registration settings. So the default setting on your website, which you can edit, is as a consumer is looking at their very first property on your site, it allows them to look at a couple images of that property, and then it asks them to register. So that's the default setting. When you access your site with this handy dandy little, hot button, it allows you to bypass that specific registration setting. So just so you're aware. Now, this is my website. This is what we'll be poking around on today. But before we do, I want to show you more of what your website will look like. So if you are in Progressive, there's yours. And if you are in Devonshire, there's yours. They're very similar, right? So if I toggle back and forth, they're going to be very similar in their setup. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. So as we look through the website, there is a background. Again, you can customize that. There is, if this is an agent site, it'll have your name on here, right? If you look at mine, there's my name. And then this is actually my office. I know it says team, but that is my office. You can see I have this custom background back there. And then as we scroll down on yours, there's some different services. So what these do is this is actually encouraging people to register as a lead. So signing up for listing alerts, that will have them register as a lead, right? It's taking me to the login page. If I want to save a favorite listing, it's going to have me create an account. It'll take me to the login page. Research local market reports. It'll ask me, okay, what area do you want this market report for? So this is all encouraging different areas for them to register as a lead, right? They don't know that. They don't need to know that. You know that, right? And then there's different carousels that you can select. These carousels you can change and adjust. There's up to 3 that you can have on your site. There's, I think, 6 or 7 kind of categories of carousels. So there's our listings, there's just listed, there's just reduced showcased on here. There are the areas that you cover. And then this one is for the office site. So that's the front page, already lots of customization. Other things you can customize are going to be these navigation tabs. So under search is where you will start your home search. If we look at mine, I've changed mine to find my dream home, right? It goes to the same place. It goes to where someone can start their search. I just decided to call it something different. So each of these navigation categories, as they're called, is something that you can customize so it makes more sense, for whatever you want it to be. You can also add custom categories. So if we look back at mine, I have added oceanside living, right? I wanted to showcase specifically that while yes, you can search all these different areas of properties, but specifically I want to call out living in Oceanside. So Oceanside living, I wanted to call out some market information. I wanted to call out a specific search of properties, so Oceanside, oceanfront properties. And I wanted to call out just a basic utility page that I created. So you can create custom pages on your site to help people find whatever it is you want them to find. So in this case, I want them to find resources for living in the city of Oceanside, because that's really where I center my business. I can also blog as a way to show my industry expertise, to make myself stand out from the other agents that are also in my area. So I've got my latest blog post here. So that's my new listing that we're seeing up here. So it's my most recent one. Some featured properties of the week, a test. So different blogs that I have. It also makes it easy for people to then do a property search right here. So there's all kinds of ways to personalize and enhance your website browsing experience. Okay, so now let's get to our action items, right? So our action items, go ahead and show of hands, raise your hand. Who completed these action items already? Right, not a lot, no worries. I also realized I forgot to make it so you can unmute yourself. So let me go ahead and do that. You do not have to unmute yourself, but I know some of us prefer to ask questions out loud rather than use the chat. So I just want to make it nice and easy for you when you do have questions. There we go. So you can raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and interrupt me. You can use the chat. You can use the Q&A, whatever you'd like. So these action items, let's just walk through them, okay? So we can all be on the same page. This is where the importance of completing your action items, this is where we both are going to put on our consumer hat. How does my consumer interact with my website? What does the client portal look like? And I'm also going to wear my realtor hat and say, okay, what am I going to get notified about? What kinds of things are sending me notifications in here? What do I get notified about? What does that look like? How can I respond? Things like that. So first action item is to have you log in. Now this is the top right-hand corner. I will be honest with you, most people do not click login up here. Most people are going to interact naturally with your website, and that's how they register. So for example, they are going to find a property that they like. They're going to click to view that property. They are then going to either go through the photos of that listing and it asks them to register, or maybe they choose to request a showing and that asks them to register, right? So that's how most people will wind up registering on your site. Most people are not going to click this login button. We are going to click it though, because it does exist here. And if you recall what I said earlier, when you access your site kind of through this hot link over here, it's not going to ask you to register. So we're kind of forcing ourselves to register. Okay. So this is called leading registration. It doesn't ask for everything all at once. So, today I'm going to be Larry. Today I'll be Larry. Ooh, I need a good last name. I'll be Larry. I can't think of any last names. I'll be Larry Hampton. And then I've got my email address. So Larry's email at gmail.com. Now it's going to ask for my phone number. This is a setting. You can require phone numbers or leave it optional like this. I'm just going to leave mine optional and I can register here. They could also click with Facebook or continue with Google. So there's really 3 options that they can pick. All of them are going to have them register. So now that we've done that, our next action item is to enter our address on the sell page. So on my site, remember, I've called that What's My Home Worth? Okay. On yours, it's still called sell. That's just fine, but you can edit it if you want to. So I click on What's My Home Worth? Now I have been here before, so it is going to remember me as I enter in my property address. So I'm going to add in an address here and click next. And it remembers me from last time I was in here. So it's going to pull up my old information, which is just fine. Now, my demo account is giving me not available here for my valuation. Yours should pull in at least 2 valuations here. Now, the reason we give more than one is we want to get them to engage with us. When you tell someone, okay, your home is worth $1 million, and that's it, they have no questions. They think they know everything. They go off with that information. But when you tell them, okay, one source thinks your home is worth 975, and one thinks your home is worth 950, and another one says it's over $1 million. So why? It piques their interest to want to talk to an expert. So independent price estimates are based on statistical models that aggregate available data to form an estimate of the market value. Estimates are not local experts. They don't walk through your home or the homes in your market to verify their data or account for the condition. I do. Ask me how I'd price your home in today's market. Right? And they can even say if they agree with the estimates, yes or no, and you'll get all that info. Now, it's also going to show them, where are people looking? Now, this is really cool because this heat map is a live heat map and it pulls data from every kvCORE user. So not just even your account, it shows, everyone here. You might also see, okay, if information is not available, that's okay too. But you have the address here. And so now they're going to be interacting with you. That's also how someone can register as a lead. So once they've registered as a lead, remember we have our new lead seller smart campaign. And so that new lead seller smart campaign will attach to people as they register for What's My Home Worth? Okay. Now, another way that people can register on your website is going to be if they save a search. So they can complete their search right here. They can go to Find My Dream Home. They can start their search here. Now in yours, starting their search looks like this or can look like this, right? Lots of ways for them to search for a property. So if we just click search or Find My Dream Home, and I start completing a search, it's going to give me an opportunity to add in more filters, or I can save it right now. Let's do more filters, and maybe I'm going to look up homes in Poway. and it doesn't like that because my demo account gets silly sometimes. So I can look up city, county, zip code for you, postal code, um, area, neighborhood as it's defined within the MLS. I can also, and this is pretty cool, I can draw an area on a map as well. So if I wanted to just live like right between this intersection of freeways here, I can do that and then just apply that. And it's going to, yep, there we go, narrow in my search. Now, people can actually have two polygons, just so you know, so they can look up more than one. And maybe from here, I want to go to more filters and look up, I don't know, let's say multifamily. Now that I've got my property search, multifamilies within that polygon, now I can save my search. So that's my actual action item. So complete a search, get to know your search, get to know all the different filters that people can look for. So we just looked at this kind of basic thing, but we could also look at, square footage, price point, some general amenities and structural options as well. And then they have this keyword option. I've pulled out 3 keyword options and I've saved those. That way they're easy to find, but I can look up really any keyword that I can search for on my MLS. So if I wanted to go one more and look up different flooring options, I could do that. If I wanted to look at pool options, I could do that too. I'm satisfied with my filter. I'm satisfied with my search. So I'm going to save this search. And as a consumer, I get to name this. So multi-family near UCSD. And I want that to come daily to me. Right? So that's how I would save a search. Then once I've saved that search, right? Let's say I'm a brand new consumer. Brand new, I come in here and I save a search or I look at a property. The system will then think I'm a new lead who's a buyer. Okay, so it'll add me to that new lead buyer smart campaign. That's going to notify you right away. It's going to give you a call and a task right away to reach out. Now, if you don't reach out right away, that's okay because we will send a text message within 7 minutes. Hey, thanks for spending time on my site. Can I set you up on a search alert? Cool thing is because I have saved this search, or if I hadn't saved a search, let's just say I went in and I was, poking around and looking at different properties. Because I am looking at properties, kvCORE is going to be able to set me up on a search alert. Right? So last week I know we talked about kind of housekeeping, right? We talked about going into your smart CRM, and we talked about going into your filters to see under the behavior who does not have a search alert. Right now, in my demo account, I have kind of a large number, right? But in real life, the way it really works, as someone looks at properties, we will set them up on search alerts automatically for you. There's a little bit of a delay. It's currently 48 hours. And the reason is, maybe I looked at, a multi-million dollar property because it was pretty, but that's not really what I'm in the market for. So it gives you some time to get in there and customize what they would actually be looking for. All right. So I saved my filter. Now, the other things that I can do, let's say I want to look at, for fun, let's just look at the most expensive property. Why not? And so I click on, let's pick this one. So now how would a consumer interact with an individual listing? They might find this listing themselves. You might promote this listing on its own. You might send someone an email to look at this listing. This might be part of a search alert that's sent their way. But as they are looking, oh, resubscribe. It's because I've been in here like 3 different people today already. So resubscribe. It's like, okay, I'm a little confused. Okay, there you are. Thank you. Let's get back to my property. So as someone is looking at our property, And we'll just pick out that same one. My consumer can do things like save this property. They can chat with me. They can ask me a question. They can request a showing. They can sign up for property alert emails. They can even share it onto their own social media. Right? So there's lots of ways that they can interact with this. So let's say I save this property. You definitely want to save a property because this will trigger a behavioral alert. And you want to know what that looks like. My phone just blinked at me. I just got a text message from my kvCORE smart number, and it says new behavioral alert. Contact was not messaged. Stephanie Townsend lead favorites a property, and then it gives me a direct link to open kvCORE and look at the details there. Right now, I know that Stephanie wasn't messaged because I don't have a cell phone in there for her. I know that. You will know that too if you then go and click on Stephanie and then, get to know that person and all that good stuff. Now, that's one thing that she can do. Another thing she can do is ask you a question, right? It's going to then confirm her email address. It's going to confirm her phone number or ask her to add her phone number. I have a question about MLS at this site or at this address. They might just send you that. That might be the only question that they get. They might send you, is there currently a tenant? Or if it said that there was a tenant, I might ask, how long is the lease term for the current tenant? And send in that question. Oh, that's my password manager. Go away. Thank you. Right. So your message has been sent. They might request a showing from here. Again, it confirms their contact info. They pick out their date and time and request that showing. And you guys, my phone is blowing up over here with notifications. So you want to make sure that you're getting those notifications, right? Remember, as your agent hat, we want to make sure we know that this activity is happening. So you can get notifications on your cell phone. That is the default way to get push notifications, or excuse me, to get notifications. However, you can also set up the app so you get push notifications. Go ahead and raise your hand. How many of you have downloaded the kvCORE app yet? Talked about it a little bit last week. Couple hands. All right. Awesome. Okay. Okay, about half of you. Okay. So when you download the app, it's going to ask you if you want to receive push notifications, if you want to receive text notifications, or both. So text notifications, I personally like those better because I'm more likely to check them. That's just me. However, when I look at my text message, it does have me open kvCORE through my web browser. Okay, so there's an extra step in there in order to respond to anything that comes your way. You can't respond directly from that text message. So there's pros and cons to that. Again, I like it because I'm more likely to actually see my text message and respond to it. If you looked at my phone, push notifications are things like, hey, Instagram, someone sent you a message and, Target, I'm just looking at my notifications right now. Target is telling me about a sale, something from Etsy. There's so many push notifications from the different apps that I have downloaded. I am likely to miss something important. So for me, I like the texts. The pros of the push notification are that you click the notification and it takes you right into the app to that lead directly so you can just start responding. So it just depends on what's more important to you, what's easier for you. You could even leave them both on, get used to it, and decide which one you like better. You could leave them both on forever. But you definitely want to go through this process and kind of see what you like. That's definitely a recommendation. Now, no matter what notifications you have on, you can still see this interaction in both the mobile app and also on the desktop version. So when I go and I log into kvCORE, let me hit refresh here. There we go. Thinking about it, there's all my new activity. All right, so I have just today, so there is Larry Hampton who registered. There is Stephanie Townsend who did a home valuation, and then she viewed a property, and then she asked a question, and then she requested a showing. Right, so I see all this activity from here. So you have 3 ways to see your notifications. 1, actually go get it push notification. 2, get it via text. 3, make logging in to your dashboard part of your day-to-day activity. Personally, that should become part of your daily strategy, right? You want to make sure you're checking in on things, make sure you're not missing anything, right? This person is actually requesting to go see a property, so I want to make sure that I respond to them, right? So they are waiting as of today at 11:30, and I'm just going to tell them if that date works fine, or I need to reschedule, or how I want to interact with them. Maybe they ask this question and I can simply say, let me get back to you, right? And there's the response. Get back in touch. Let me get back to you on that. I'm not sure. Right? And then you could even add a task, right? So I respond, let me find out and get back to you. So that way they don't go and like ask a different agent, right? I don't want them to do that. I know that they are then being responded to. And then I can look at Stephanie and I can add myself a task, right? Later today, or even tomorrow, or whatever I want. So later today. So we'll do at 2 p.m., right? Not 11, 2. Not going to be texting people at 11 p.m. Did I get back to them with an answer? Question mark. And add that task. Right? Really simple. So again, I don't have to remember to do things. I never remember to do things. I'm going to add tasks for myself. So this way you can take a lot of kind of that mental load off of yourself. You don't need to remember to respond to this. You add a reminder for yourself, right? And what you want to do is make logging into kvCORE part of your regular business strategies. That way you can complete your calls that are scheduled for you, complete your tasks that are scheduled for you, right? It's right here. Did I get back to them with an answer, right? If I'm looking at my calls and my tasks and my activity stream on a regular basis, I'm never going to miss out on an opportunity to engage with someone. And that's what it's all about. It's all about an opportunity to engage with leads. So that way I can have meaningful conversations with them and drive them forward into being my client. That's one thing that kvCORE does really, really well is provide you opportunities to engage and communicate with people. Right, so that's your website in a nutshell. I told you a lot about things that you can customize. Those are here in your web and IDX. So one thing that I mentioned about customization is your custom pages. You can add, edit, create custom pages at any time. You can see here the ones that I've created, like the Oceanside Market Report. I didn't actually create any content from that page. I just linked in to something that already exists on my kvCORE website, right? I went all the way down to the bottom of my homepage. So let's look at yours. I went all the way down to the bottom, and there's these different, well, too far, areas that we cover. And I took one of these. In my case, I took Oceanside. I copied this link and I used it to make a custom page. I didn't have to do anything. I can, if I know all kinds like meta tags and meta keywords, I can add all that stuff in there. I didn't. All right, so you can add all kinds of new things in here. You can blog, right? Blogging, the thing that I love about this is I can pre-create my blogs for like the whole month. I can choose not to publish it yet. I can choose that I'm going to publish it in the future. I can save it as a draft because it's not quite ready. So I can sit down on like the first of the month and I can plan out my blog articles for the whole month. It's not something I have to do in the moment. Again, it's a great way to show off your industry expertise. It is an excellent way to make you stand out from other people in the crowd. Not only are blogs present on your site, but you can share them onto social media. So it's another way to, lightly remind people you're in real estate. You can combine them all together and make a newsletter. There's all kinds of things you can do. Some of the other customizations in here, if I go to edit settings. So for example, if I click on custom navigation, that's where I can go if I wanted to change any of the names. Oops, there's my scroller. Right, so if I wanted to change the word sell, or if I want to change the word buy, I can make changes and edits here. I can update my listing carousels to be something different, right? My listings just listed, my areas, right? I can pick all kinds of things. So lots of fun ways to edit, customize your website and tailor it to be more specific to you. Any website related questions before we dive into new leads? All right, so section 4 is all about fueling up that pipeline.
Hi,
Right, so
Christina.
yeah,
Do you mind if I ask a question here?
please do.
Okay, on the custom navigation section, like up at the top where you have your tabs on your website, right?
Mhm.
So for example, you'd have search, sell, your agent resources, etc., right? So you know what I'm referring to, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you've changed yours up a little bit. So what I did is I created a tab that says area reports
Mhm.
up beside resources. And underneath area reports, I put in areas around Edmonton, like the suburbs, Sherwood Park, Beaumont, etc. Now, what's the maximum number of options I have within that tab? So I went and I added in some of the suburbs, but all of the ones that I added in don't appear to be here. Is there a limit?
No, there's not. There's not a limit. But what you do want to do is go into the web and IDX and go to edit settings and go to custom navigation and make sure that you have either a category or a page that you want to show. So my category, for example, if we look at mine, my category is Oceanside Living. My page is Oceanside Market Report. When I
Right.
created
So how many pages can you have underneath your category?
unlimited,
Okay.
yeah, I've seen, when I
Okay.
look at this, I've seen one that the drop down takes the whole page.
Now, okay, that's great. You've answered that question. Thank you.
Mhm.
Second question that I have is I went in as my own client, and while you were doing yours, I kind of went in to set up a search in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Mhm.
Um, I don't even seem to be able to create my own search. Like when I add in my search criteria, etc., and leave it very general, 3 to 450,000, any bedrooms, any bathrooms, single family, bungalows, and bi-levels, I get absolutely nothing. It comes back with 0 results when I know for a fact that that's not the case. So, like from a consumer's perspective, if I come in here and look at this, well, I've got nothing.
Yeah, so
So,
I would say, so based on what you said, it's because you selected both bungalows and bi-levels. And so usually it's one of the two, not always, but if you say, if you look up like property styles, if it's in this one field, I should only really pick one option here because it uses what's called and logic. So for example, if I pick ranch and then I also pick ranch traditional, like those are going to kind of conflict. And so that is something that we are adjusting and working on, is the making it more clear as to when you should pick just one option versus when it's something that is going to limit your search to where you're really not going to get a lot of lot of property results versus when it's um, like a good thing to add. So like, for example, if I add in something walkable plus a pool, I've then really limited what I want to look for. So some of the changes that are coming are making some of these like an optional search and making more results show on your website. So
Right,
that's,
so what I went in and I just eliminated by level, so I only have one style.
oh, okay. Uh-huh.
And I still come back with no matching results.
Oh, then I would reach out to support. Because definitely sounds the first kind of troubleshooting thing is if you look at your agent profile. So if you
Yep,
click on your name and then look at your profile and then make sure that you have the correct MLS ID in there. That's step one. And then if that's already correct, then reach out to support. If there's ever listings that are missing or aren't there, definitely reach out to us, because sometimes the data feed changes how it's processed. So tell them exactly what you told me, like maybe take a screenshot of the search that you did on your kvCORE site and
right.
then send them a data sheet of a listing that's live and active and should fit that criteria. So something from the MLS, and then they can dive into diagnosing why that's not showing up.
Right, okay. Okay, so I'll do that. So I did hear you say that you were going to, um, you guys are working on evolving the search function so there can be more styles added into the general search at first, because that's really how people do start searching when they land on the site.
Yeah, I agree. And so that is one of on our roadmap to make some changes to what that kind of search experience looks like for your consumers. I'm pretty excited about the little things that they've sprinkled to us. So keep your ears peeled. That'll probably be in our spring release, which happens in about 2 months. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled, and we'll make a nice big announcement about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. And then Phyllis, I see your hand up. You are muted on your end, though. All right, well, if you think of your question, oh, you're all good. Okay, good. All right, so that's your website. There is also, I recommend, since we've had some website questions, our live training calendar. There is on Wednesdays a session that does a deeper dive into your website. Also, when you go through the Agent Quick Start, section 3 in there also goes pretty thoroughly into your website as well. All right, so let's talk new leads or just adding people into your kvCORE to begin with. So most of what we're going to spend the rest of our day on is in the lead engine, but I do want to showcase really quickly to you some opportunities that are in the marketplace. So if you maybe don't want to learn one of these new lead generation tools, or maybe you don't have the time or you don't have the desire to learn it, that's fine. The important thing is that you are meeting new people every day, right? That you are telling people that you're in real estate, right? Whether that's through an open house or through an ad or through door knocking or networking. The idea is always, meeting new people. Now, where kvCORE comes in is we want those new people to get into kvCORE so that way we can take care of a lot of that nurturing for you, right? Put them on smart campaigns, put them on search alerts, send them a monthly newsletter, nurture these leads. So we don't really care where these leads come from. We just want to help you get them, right? So any lead source and strategy you can do. Now, one of that strategies might be outsourcing your advertising, right? So for example, on here, we have get seller leads. This is an online advertising opportunity for you that is going to look specifically for people whose behavior and interests online indicate they're likely to be homeowners, right? Back in the day, we used to be able to make a Facebook ad that would target people who owned a home. We can't do that anymore, right? Facebook has really narrowed down the way you can advertise for real estate, right? All those, anti-discrimination laws, those are good things, but it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult to find who it is that we're looking for, right? And so, again, we have resources for you. Online has resources for you. If you want to dive into how to make your own Facebook ads, more power to you. Or you can come to us and say, I've got other things to do, like going on listing appointments. I don't need to learn how to do this. I'd rather outsource it to the experts. So we have a lot of options in here. So we have Property Boost, which is going to advertise a specific listing. That can be a just listed listing. It can be an upcoming open house. It can be a price reduction or adjustment, but it's advertising one specific listing. You can pick a package here from 3 days all the way to a month, and it advertises for you. Now, Smart Social Leads is going to advertise a list of properties for you. And it's going to target, both of these are going to target people who are in the area or have been in the area of that specific listing. All right. So, I live in a touristy area in the summer, not as much in the winter, but, I live right by a beach. And so people tend to come here. And so I'll get people who they've checked in, they've come here, and then they get advertised for properties that they might want to buy. Right. So pretty cool. There's a lot of options in here. We've talked about some of these as we have gone through our training together, but specifically for lead generation, you can always click specifically get more leads, and then that will showcase you specifically what we have for getting more leads in here. One other thing I do want to showcase to you is one of my favorite things in the whole world is our done for you success services. I very likely mentioned them to you last week as well, but Done For You Success Services is a team of people that will make custom content for you. So that custom content might be that you want to make a specific Facebook ad, right? Maybe you don't want to utilize one of our ad products that we have. Maybe you want something a little bit more specific. Maybe I've been mentioning blogging and your ears are really perking up, but you just don't have the time to do it yourself. Maybe you want to make a newsletter, same thing. This is where people will do something for you. So it's a pretty cool service. It's really a good way to kind of customize and outsource something like that if you're interested in that. There's a lot of options here in the marketplace. We do have a full webinar that goes over the marketplace where you can talk to marketplace experts about your budget and your goals, and they can help guide you to the right product. But I did want to give us a quick overview there before we dive into the free stuff. So let's talk getting our current contacts into kvCORE. The rest of the day, we're going to spend in the lead engine. And we're going to try to touch on 4 things while we're here: landing pages, squeeze pages, our bulk imports, and our lead Dropbox. So I'm going to start at the end. Our lead Dropbox. Lead Dropbox is where you can connect in outside lead sources that you either already have or that you are looking to get in the future. So lead Dropbox, if you click start now, you really want to kind of go in order. So first, do you have Zillow leads? And if your lead source is Zillow, you'll follow these directions. And then you can ask yourself, I have a lead source and it's not Zillow, right? So is it on this huge giant list of known lead sources? So things that we directly support. right? And I'm just scrolling here and I'm going to send you this article because I know you definitely can't read what I'm scrolling through. But for example, realtor.ca, right? That's definitely on here, realtor.ca. So if you are getting leads from realtor.ca or from 5 Street or from Broker Lead Club or anything on this list, you can connect that lead source right into kvCORE utilizing this email address right here. Now, depending on the lead source, some of you will, like for realtor.ca, you take this email, you put it into your profile over there under your notification email. Some of these you'll need to set up a forward, like coming leads notification goes to my email, and so that I need to forward it to this email address. There's more information to kind of step by step through with you on this email forwarding portal on that instruction set right there. And then if you have a lead source that is not available on there, then you might need to set up a Zapier. Zapier is a third-party account. It's a third-party tool, and what it does is it helps things communicate with each other. It's kind of like a translator. So for example, if you are running your own Facebook ads, not if you're purchasing them through us, but if you're running your own Facebook ads, when you run ads in Facebook, Facebook holds on to those leads for you. So if you want to be able to do any action with those leads, you need to drop them into kvCORE. And so you absolutely can sit there with your Facebook ad portal in one and your kvCORE in the other and go manually add all these contacts in, but that's silly. What we want to do is be saving you time, not taking your time. So you would go to Zapier, create an account to automatically forward your Facebook ads into kvCORE. That's just one example. Other examples I've seen are like Google Sheets. Maybe I like to put my leads on Google Sheets and I want them to drop into kvCORE for me. But connecting my lead sources, my lead drop box, if you will, is really a set it and forget it kind of thing, right? It's not something I need to do always. If I don't currently have outside lead sources, I don't need to worry about that. But if I decide in the future to invest in some of those, I do want to make sure I'm adding them into kvCORE. All right, now let's talk about our bulk import. Your bulk import is how you can get a whole group of people into kvCORE all at once, right? So again, instead of needing to go and manually add people, let's just get them in here with a bulk import. Now, step one is getting a list of contacts. You can do that by downloading or exporting from your current CRM. You can download your Gmail contacts. You can download your iPhone contacts. If you don't have any of those sources, we also have this fun kind of almost a game here called the 10 by 10 method. This is a good memory jogger for you. I personally like to do this once a month. Like sit down with my 10 by 10, set a timer for 5 minutes, right? We even tell you, and go one category at a time and think of however many people you can, right? And ideally you do 10 categories, right? 10 by 10. That's your goal is 10 people for 10 categories, 100 people. Like really it's just as many as you can. Right. So some examples of categories would be family and friends, my best friends, my immediate family. You could do friends with pets, right? Whatever category you want, right? And the idea is just to give yourself a memory jogger, run down everyone that you can think of, make sure they're in here. Think about your neighbors. Okay, thinking about my neighbors. Who has been in their home for over 7 years? Who is renting? Who are my friends that are renting, right? Think about things like that. So 10 by 10, getting a list of people so you can add them into kvCORE. So step one is getting a list, lots of ways to do that. Your current CRM, your Gmail, your 10 by 10, anything like that. Then you want to think about how you're going to organize them. You want to get prepped. Okay. So you want to think about the categories in here. Right? We talked about this really thoroughly last week. Things like what status should each person be? Who are they all prospects? Are some active leads and some new leads? Right? I want to think about who my contacts are going to be. And then I also want to think about, their lead type, their hashtags. And then I also encourage you to think about what automation you want to kick off right away. Do you want them on smart campaigns? Do you want them on search alerts? Right? So think about the categories and think about the automation. Now, if you are comfortable in Excel or Google Sheets, you can go right into there and you can update everyone's status, right? Individually label who's what. You can separate them out into different files. You can decide what search alerts they're going to get. If you are not comfortable in Excel, which most of us are not, we have a team of specialists for you. This team, literally what they do, their full-time job is helping agents organize their contacts and get them into kvCORE. So you need to make the list and you need to think about these things, but we'll do it for you, right? If you say, okay, everyone in rows 1 through 100 is my sphere and everyone 101 to 230 is my prospects, they will organize that for you. This is something I highly recommend that you let us handle it. It is completely for free. You can do it as many times as you want. Like I mentioned, I like to do that 10 by 10 once a month, just like a little memory jogger. Who did I meet this month that I maybe didn't put into my kvCORE yet? And then from there, you think about new leads. So we've got lots of new lead strategies. We're going to focus on squeeze pages today, but there are landing pages, there are squeeze pages, there are call capture text codes that we'll talk about a little, but we're mostly going to do squeeze pages. So call capture text codes. Call capture text codes are codes that you can put onto print advertising that someone will text you that code and you set up an auto response. So we've seen these in real life, right? You go shopping and right next to the checkout is never miss another sale, text save to 123456789. So you go, oh yeah, I like to save money. You pick up your phone, you text the word save to that phone number, and then it gives you an auto responder, right? So it's going to give you back something like, okay, yeah, we'll make sure to notify you of our next sales, right? So that's a call capture text code. So the way it would work for real estate, I might say, okay, for a brand new listing, I might create a text code that says, show me, right? I'm pretty sure I have that in here, maybe. So I might create a text code that says, show me. There we go. And I put show me on a postcard and I say, to request a showing, text show me to this phone number. And then I make the autoresponder. I'd love to show you Main Street. Is morning or afternoon better for you? And then this home sold, right? So I updated it. 123 Main Street is no longer available. There are other homes nearby though. Would you be interested in more information? Right? So they're getting an automated response. It's a really, really good way to get phone numbers. So landing pages and squeeze pages. So let's talk about how they are the same, and then let's talk about how they are different. So they are the same because they are free. You are creating a link and then you share that link out. And as people click on that link, it takes them somewhere where they're going to register as the lead. So for example, I might take a link of a squeeze page. And what I did, that was the custom page on my site, right? The oceanfront properties. This was a squeeze page. It's designed to get people looking at a specific search results. So that way they look at properties and they register as a lead. So squeeze pages, I think about it as squeezing my consumer, guiding them to a specific spot on my site where I know lead generation is likely to occur, right? So looking at a list of properties, looking at a market report, looking at an individual property, looking at that seller valuation page. Lots of different ways to generate leads with a squeeze page. So when I build out my squeeze page, I'm going to decide what type of squeeze page I want. Do I want a multi-property squeeze page, so a search result? Do I want a single property squeeze page? So maybe I have a new listing and I want people to go to that one individual listing. I really want lots of people to view that listing. Maybe I'm having an open house. So same thing, I'm going to talk about the open house. I'm going to drive people to this one individual listing. I want more people to sign up for my market reports. So I'm going to send them to the market report sign up page. So my squeeze page, I squeeze people to where I want them to go. And so what that looks like, I take that link and I share it out onto social media, or I put it in a blog, or I put it in a newsletter, or I make an ad with it, whatever I want to do. And so here I have a multi-property squeeze page, right? Ocean views and Carlsbad living. They click there and it takes them to that list of properties on my agent website. So there we go. There's Carlsbad properties, all with ocean views. So as they find one that they like, they click on it. They scroll through the images. And it's going to have them register as a lead. Or they save it for later and that has them register. Or they request a showing and that has them register, right? The whole idea with squeeze pages is we have these resources on your website. We want to invite more people there. We want to make it easy for people to find that. So let's just build one out real quick together. So I've got my squeeze page here, and I am going to decide what that search criteria is that I want them to see. I can pick a location, so city, county, zip code, postal code, whatever I want. I could even choose to draw it on a map if that works for me. I'm then going to set my search criteria. Right, so let me pick my area. I'll do Carlsbad again. Then I set my search criteria. Now you don't have to fill out every single thing on here. You can, like if I want to make sure they only get, condos and townhomes with no HOAs, right? That's what I want. That's my search criteria. And now I build out my page. So where is my lead going to come from? I'm going to put them on my Facebook business page. I might put it on Twitter. I might make an ad, whatever I'm going to do. I'm going to put hashtag buyer Carlsbad. I'm also going to put hashtag no HOA. Right? However, I want to label these leads so they're searchable. I'm going to then generate my link. It creates these links for me. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. And now that I have that link on my clipboard, I can just post it onto social media. So I open up my Facebook page. I go to make a post. And once it finds the properties that it's looking for, I can then say something about that post. So for example, that's why I have ocean views and Carlsbad living, or I have just washed your car and want to keep it out of the rain. All of these properties in Orange, California have at least 3 car garages. I give them a call to action. click through, message me if you want to go see any in person. So when it comes to lead generation, whether it's within kvCORE or on your own, the most important thing is that you're being consistent, right? Maybe you're really excited about landing pages or really excited about call capture text codes or really excited about squeeze pages. Pick one to really dive into and practice, and then you can add things from there. The most important thing, though, is to get a couple people into kvCORE so you can start pushing the buttons and start to understand how the system works, whether that's through doing squeeze pages every Monday or going to the marketplace and purchasing a property boost or connecting any outside sources that you already have. You want to start adding people in here so that way you can push the buttons and start to understand how the whole system works together. So that concludes our kickoff training. Other things for you to do and for you to think about are to make sure that you've completed that Agent Quick Start course. That's going to give you step-by-step instructions. It's going to guide you through all those action items. You could also join our Facebook group. This is a great way to connect with other agents and other users. We also announce ongoing training through there. Our training is posted in the live training calendar, which you can see right here in kvCORE. I'm also going to send you out the link to that. So if you want any live training, you can definitely check us out there. Thank you all for coming. If you've got any other questions, go ahead and chat them in. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all online. Thank you.